Hello everyone, my name is Lindsay. I'm a great ape keeper, and today I'm going to be debunking some myths about zoos that I feel like many people tend to clump with all zoos, and there are definitely some distinct categories among the zoo world that I feel like a lot of people don't know about. Now, this video will be defending zoos, but at the end of the day, there's always room for nuance and gray area. Like I said earlier, not every zoo is the same, and that goes for the accredited ones too. Like the saying goes, what do you call a medical student that graduated at the bottom of their class? A doctor. Same goes for zoos. Even the good ones have their flaws, and there will always be room for improvement and to make zoos better. Now, on to the myths. Every zoo is the same. The term zoo encompasses any place that houses animals to be used for display purposes. This can range from the San Diego Zoo to that little girl who set up a fence around her dog and made a petting zoo, but not every zoo is the same. The first evidence of zoos was actually discovered in 2500 BCE in ancient Egypt. Animal collections and menageries were common among aristocracy. Animals would get taken from the wild and then shipped out to God knows where to be put on display for humans. Unfortunately, these animals weren't given proper care and often died fairly young due to poor health. In the 18th and 19th centuries, zoos started to become public domains, and many private collections would be shown off to the public. This transformed zoos from a cabinet of curiosities to an educational space for families to visit. During the 20th century, this evolved even further. Care for these animals started to improve, enclosure sizes, habitat immersion, and diets began to be more species-friendly. Zoos began to build up their education department, and enrichment programs began to be implemented to help with mental stimulation. Unfortunately, not every zoo adopted these practices, and many got left in the dust. In 1924, the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, or the AZA for short, was founded. This organization worked one-on-one with the government to provide care standards for every AZA-accredited zoo. And this is not just as simple as a walkthrough. This accreditation ranges from enclosure recommendations for every species, education and conservation efforts, cleanliness, well-maintained facilities, and so much more. AZA-accredited zoos would be considered the gold standard of zoos in the U.S. By comparison, you have what we call roadside zoos.
I am gay. I have tried drugs through the younger years of my life. I am broke as shit. I have a judgment against me from some bitch down there in Florida. But I can tell you, I paid a fine with the USDA, and that is nothing but a civil fine, ladies and gentlemen. That does not mean that I was accused or convicted of any kind of animal cruelty thing.
These zoos are not AZA accredited and vary in their wellness practices. They often have issues with how they obtain their animals, illegal pet trade. They tend to often focus more on entertainment side of zoos instead of the educational ones. One-on-one animal encounters tend to be very prevalent. While not every animal encounter is bad, there are many species that become very stressed, and they can also spread disease. So, not every zoo is the same. Many meet the strict safety and care standards set by the AZA, and while the AZA is not perfect by any means, if you're looking for a safe option to go to a zoo, this is your best bet. The animals look sad and bored. Every species in the animal kingdom has a unique set of behaviors that are common among all individuals. Oftentimes, this is different from human behavior, so we have to be cognizant of that when we go to a zoo. Animals aren't going to be moving 24/7 in the wild. Many have to conserve their energy so they can hunt, graze, or forage. It's not practical for them to be playing all the time or even be awake. I know it's difficult to not anthropomorphize animals, but we have to understand that that's normal for a lion or a tiger to sleep 16 to 20 hours a day. It's normal for apes to be lounging around grooming each other. It's normal for an animal to perimeter its territory. On top of that, many animals are also rescued from the wild. They might have mental defects, physical ailments that cause them to act a certain way. I do hear the term zoochosis thrown around a lot, and I kind of hate it because every animal has individual cares and needs, and I promise that the keepers more than likely are doing everything they can to keep that animal engaged and mentally stimulated. Unless you know that animal's medical history, don't make assumptions about its mood unless you have all the facts. If you do have concerns, find a zookeeper, and for the love of God, do not post an out-of-context video on TikTok saying that this animal has zoochosis, because it is my pet peeve. As a zookeeper, you just play with animals all day. Wrong. I clean up poop all day, actually. Unfortunately, many days we don't have time to play with our animals. A lot of the days are pretty scheduled, And with cleaning, feeding, training, observations, charting, and private visits, we don't have much time to just relax with our animals. But rest assured, when we do have time, we take every advantage that we can and enjoy our time with them. All the animals in the zoo collection are on display. This is actually pretty false. There tends to be a ton of animals behind the scenes that visitors can't see. This is for a multitude of reasons: the well-being of the animals, there's not an enclosure for them, privacy for breeding, quarantine, weather, etc. I actually worked with birds during a bird flu outbreak, and all the birds were behind the scenes. It made cleaning a lot easier and more convenient because we didn't have to drive around the zoo and clean all the enclosures, but it sucked for the visitors because they couldn't see the birds. All animals are inbred. This is true to an extent. There is a lot of inbreeding that happens in zoos. Every species is going to have an oopsie baby here and there. AZA accredited zoos no longer take animals from the wild. Because of this, inbreeding can be pretty common because there's no new genes being introduced. To mitigate this, AZA created SSPs, or species survival plans. This essentially is a big data log of each individual animal and their species, and their recommended breeding partners at other AZA zoos. This is normally how animals are actually traded between zoos, so that's why you see a lot of animals bouncing back and forth. It is worth noting that recent updates have been made to the SSP program in zoos. Now the animals must be housed in 25 AZA zoos to have an SSP, with few exceptions. Because of this, there is definitely a risk of inbreeding in these species in the future, unless there's an alternative program. All animals are captured from the wild. Modern zoos stopped capturing animals from the wild around the 1970s. AZA-accredited zoos only breed within their facilities or rescue injured animals from the wild. However, there still is an issue with illegal wildlife trade. Roadside zoos and private pet ownership still keep it alive. Unfortunately, the only way to combat this is to be aware of who you give your money to and not to promote social media exotic pet pages and roadside zoos. Animal training is harmful. The reason why people believe this is because of the entertainment industry, like circuses that train animals with negative reinforcement. Modern zoos really only train their animals with positive reinforcement, meaning that the animals can choose if they want to participate or not. So if they do something that we like, they get a reward. And most of the time, the training that you'll see in zoos is mostly for veterinary procedures, so injection training, showing your body parts, all that good stuff to make sure that the animals are comfortable with our vets and to make sure that they are not terrified if we have to do something medically to them. So that's all the myths I have for you guys today. If you want a second video, please let me know in the comments. If you like the videos that I put out, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week for another video. Bye.